Salisbury. Yes, that's right. It's pronounced Salisbury. Not Salisbury, Salisbury, English. Salisbury is a cathedral city in Wiltshire, known for its historic buildings, its huge market square, and its little Diagon Alley-like streets. Salisbury has a rich history, and supposedly was a very important place for music back in the 18th century. A grammarian named James Harris, who apparently was a friend of classical composer Handel, directed concerts in Salisbury Assembly Hall for 50 years until his death in 1790. Thanks for that, Wikipedia. Can always rely on you for the facts. The real question is though, is Salisbury any good for busking? Is it worth setting up on those cobbled streets? Or did appreciation for music performance peak back in the 1700s? There is only one way to find out, my friends. Here is how I got on busking in Salisbury. Ooh, look at that for lighting. Welcome to Salisbury, or Salisbury as it's spelt. That's some mighty cathedral. Another one of many, many, many. Where did that wind come from? It's just suddenly got windy. This is one of many cities in the UK that probably should be a town that has a cathedral, which qualifies it as a city. It is a mighty cathedral. Madness. I am intrigued by how it will be here in Salisbury. The area for busking, or the areas for busking, are quite small. So I'm assuming that if more than one of us has showed up today, it could be quite hard. But I'll go through the rules with you for busking here now. The rules for busking in Salisbury. That was a violent clap. Salisbury City Council might win the award for the best title on their busking guideline booklet. A history of creating culture. Salisbury's street performance code of practice. This is so wonderfully put. The next time somebody asks me what I do for a living, instead of full-time busker, I'm just gonna tell them that I create culture. 10 out of 10. I honestly love it. Such a good way of putting it. Salisbury can also have a medal for making their code of practice nice and simple and easy to digest. Some of the other councils have been known to be very wordy with their code of practice, so I appreciate just a 2-page booklet. They've split their guidelines into 2 sections. Things you should do, or the please section, and things you shouldn't do, which is called the please do not section. So these are the pleases. Please be over 14, and if you're under 16, then you need to be accompanied by an adult. Please don't be heard from more than 50 meters away. Just don't be too loud, essentially. Please abide to this code of practice. Please don't be so loud that you distress shoppers or workers. Distress is such a funny term, although we've probably all heard buskers who cause distress through their performance. I hope that I never cause distress. It's like a savage word to use. Please ensure drumming is only a minor part of your act, which isn't great news if you're just a solo busker drummer. Please ensure you have a permit if you're raising money for charity. You don't need a permit if you're busking, just if you're raising money for charity through busking. And please get a street trader's license if you're selling CDs or merch. All pretty straightforward. So let's move on to the please do nots. Please do not perform in one spot for more than 2 hours. Please do not obstruct the highway or fire exits. Please do not ask or demand for payment. Please do not perform within 50 meters of another busker or big issue seller. Please do not cause offense or distress to the public. They love the word distress. Imagine if you got asked to stop playing because you were causing distress. Oh, I think that would cause me distress. Please do not make use of street furniture without consent. And please do not perform in the Old George Mall or the Maltings. You're about to find out later on in the video that I really should have paid attention to that last point. But I didn't actually read these rules until after I'd been. Shh. But that's why I make these videos. For you, so you can watch them before you go, and then you don't have to make any mistakes. These are a good set of reasonable rules with some incredible titling. Good work, Salisbury City Council. So let's get on with my day in Salisbury. Number 1. The day I busked in Salisbury was Remembrance Day. This is like a war memorial day we have here in the UK. So when I arrived in Salisbury, there was a big gathering taking place in the market square.
Across town, you've been searching for that song, and it's beyond the crowd. Is you sit around feeling sorry for yourself?
It was kind of like a Remembrance Day parade. So I decided to stop and watch, figuring it would probably be pretty distasteful if I was to set up and start playing before the moment's silence.
So upside, you've been thinking about ditching me.
And as soon as it was over, I set up in Butcher Row, just outside the Poultry Cross Monument. What was rad is there'd been like a few hundred people gathered in the market square for the parade, which meant that a load of people were heading my way once I began playing.
Well, go do what you like.
Right away, I was struck by how friendly people were in Salisbury. Just lots of smiles, waves, thumbs up. A few people stopped to have a chat about busking and music. Just right away, this really welcoming vibe.
Search you all around, 'cause she knew that I'd be found when I come around.
I had a fair few people stick around and watch too, forming a little audience. Mostly parents with their little kids, out for a Friday shopping excursion.
No time to search you all around.
One of the little kids was really enjoying giving me donations. He kept going back to his mum to get another coin to put in my case. After maybe 5 or 6 coins, she said that it was time for him to stop. I guess he didn't want to, so he decided to throw his half-eaten sausage roll into my case. You gotta laugh at these things. The set was going so well, I even had people asking me to play requests by bands that I genuinely love.
Hey, you know something that we not wanted to?
Yeah, cool.
Sing it.
Yeah, of course.
Where I was stood seemed to be a really good spot. It's all pedestrian only, and then there's a walkway to the left, there's a walkway to the right, and the entire street is in front of you. And I imagine it would be even better if there hadn't been construction going on the Poultry Cross Monument that was literally just behind me.
I'm starting looking at. She took off the clothes, then I turned on the TV, and that's about the time she walked away from me.
What do you think's more important? The background to a busker or the foreground? Because this background's ugly, but this foreground's amazing. I like looking at a good view. I'm not really bothered by what's behind me, but I wonder if that has any effect on things. Maybe not here in Salisbury because things are going very well. But
From a paper when I said I was the cops, and yours visit jail. Instead of stand outside of me.
After 2 hours in this spot, I decided to round things off. If I'm honest, I reckon I could have gotten away with staying there longer. There were no other signs of buskers around, and the shops and businesses and just general public didn't seem to mind that I was still there. I think if you were a busker who likes to just do one spot for a long time, you'd be fine.
Why no scrub? Scrub is a guy can't get no love from me.
You find me here in the middle of the market square. Spot one. I think Salisbury might be the friendliest place I've ever been to. Honestly, that was so good. It was so good. So many good things happened during that. Here's one really cool thing that happened during that. I got given some chocolate coins from Tiger. The woman from the shoe shop came out, told me that the customers genuinely thought that it was the radio playing. It was just so good, such a good vibe, so friendly. Everyone wants to help me out. The guy who's like doing the bins just came over to me and said, where are you thinking of setting up? And he's just given me an idea for spot 2. So I made £60.34. I probably could have done a 1 spot wonder. But I freaked out because the guy from the jewellery shop came out and looks like he was annoyed. He smoked 2 cigarettes. Looked like he was just continuously like mustering the courage to tell me to sort of move on, so I wasn't sure. Alright, on to spot 2. Spot number 2. So this is where things would have been better if I'd have read the guidelines prior to going to Salisbury. A mistake that you don't have to make because I've read them to you, so.
Salty breeze sets me free, it's all I really need. A boy gotta get out of here.
Had I known that last point on the code of practice, I wouldn't have made this mistake. But I ended up setting up in the Old George Mall. Please do not perform in the Old George Mall or the Maltings.
I need something sweet to sing my teeth into, baby.
What was confusing is this mall is outside. It's not like a traditional shopping centre. It looks like it could just be another street. So it's hard to gauge that is private land.
I say, I think I need to get out of here.
I'd also spoken to a worker whilst I was sat in the market square who told me it would be the best place to set up because it's always the busiest and has plenty of foot traffic. I just trusted his word for it. I'm guessing he hasn't read the code of practice either.
I think I need to get out of here. I gotta say that she agrees.
I think I managed to play for about 20 minutes before the security showed up, who told me I wasn't supposed to be there in the most friendly way possible. And what's more is, I'd managed to make a fair amount of donations despite only playing 3 or 4 songs.
Life is supposed to that so around the wave, I'll misbehave, I'll jump into the sea. Tell me which way to the beach.
Okay, so the security just came and asked me to move because apparently I'm on private property in this shopping centre. He was really friendly about it though. Even being asked to move here is really friendly. I've got to move up there, but despite that I've made £14.65 in about 4 songs.
Spot number 3. I guess. Is it spot 3? It is a new spot. Spot number 3. I took the advice from the security guard who told me I had to move, and I set up on the high street.
You got a sticker in your face if I measure by your case on your potential.
And it was still really busy and the sun had started shining. Another great spot for foot traffic because of the multi-directional street layout.
It's more than I accept, 'cause I don't care where I belong no more.
There's also a few cafes and restaurants along this street which have outdoor seating, meaning I had a little audience whilst I was playing. Again, I was just taken back by how friendly everyone was. It's very rare that I visit a place and people are unfriendly, don't get me wrong, but I find that there are levels to friendliness. Most places have a good level of friendliness, but Salisbury just was like up there, you know? Up a few notches from usual.
Belong no more. What we share or not, I will ignore.
The donations in this third spot definitely didn't kick off as quickly as they had done when I was set up in the shopping mall. Obviously the worker in the market square had known what he was talking about.
It's time you go back where you came from.
But needless to say, the high street was still busy and there were still plenty of donations coming in.
You know I want it. You know it's mine, I accept.
After playing for about an hour or so, I decided to round things off. I guess in total I'd played for about an hour and a half between the 2 spots, plus all the time it took to set down and then set back up again. All of this shopping mall confusion.
I'm feeling it. The contrast is I see.
But all in all, I had a really good and successful day. Dang, Salisbury, Salisbury. That was an incredible day. Let me just go through what happened in spots 2/3 there. So I set up for spot 2, hoping that I would only have to do just that sort of 1 more hour, because I'm cooked. I'm off the back of a 3-day stint of busking every day and filming. I've hammered the videos out these last few days because I've been out in the west of England as a trip that I'm piloting. I think I'm gonna have to do a few more of these trips now because I want to busk in places further afield than the sort of realm of Brighton. So in order to make it worth it, I can't travel for like 3 hours a day. Anyway, that's beside the point. Salisbury is so friendly. I set up in that shopping centre. It turns out it's private land. It is a shopping centre despite being open air. It's a bit deceiving. The security guy came out, said in a great accent that I won't mimic, but the accent from here is a like awesome accent. Makes things way friendlier. It makes friendly things sound even friendlier. But he said, oh, sorry, it's private land. We don't have an entertainer's license, so I'm gonna have to ask you to move, but just stay for 10 minutes because the people watching are having such a good time. So he let me play a few more songs, and I hilariously ended up earning like £14.65 in those like 5 songs. And he told me I should set up on the where the entrance to the shopping centre is by the high street. I think it's the high street, one of the main roads. I set up there and played like the remainder of the songs that I was going to play in the shopping centre, and it went so well. Again, just so friendly and like welcoming, and I love places where they really appreciate the fact that you're there. Busking really is connection. It's connection to a place, it's connection to people. One of the oldest jobs, you know that? Street musician. And that's me, a modern day street musician. And so in spot 3, I guess, I ended up earning £24.60 something. I'll put the total for the day on the screen, but as you can see, today has been a 100+ day, and I should think that's a Salisbury thing. It's very cool here. I highly recommend it for busking. Right, back to future me and signing off for a 3-day stint. I'm gonna go back to Brighton now. Salisbury! You have a funny way of spelling your name, but you're friendly, you're welcoming, and you're a great place to busk. As with everywhere else I seem to go, I'm gonna have to return. I'd like to have a go at playing in the middle of that market square. Plus, I should really go and see Stonehenge properly. I've only ever really driven past it. Hopefully this video helps anyone that is thinking of going busking in Salisbury. Just don't be setting up in that old George Moore. But do say hi to the really friendly security. I've never been asked to move in such a polite way. Thank you for watching this video. Give it a like if you liked it, of course. And hit subscribe. Let's get this channel so big that one day Wikipedia will say August Radio Project busked here. ARP busked here in the 21st century. And if you are a true fan, then turn those notifications on. I make videos every week and they come out on Mondays. So I will see you in the next one. In the meantime, maybe watch the one on the screen, go and check out the others, and just be as friendly as they are in Salisbury. Peace, love, happiness.